All right, so we got the wastegate dump tubing in to try to make this kind of go out the hood with the exhaust, and I hate it. So this is not, I can't do this. This looks so bad. I don't mind the up pipe. I got that trimmed off to where I want it, and also got a hole cut in the hood right where it goes. And we're gonna make a little trim ring. And then I planned on kind of trimming around the wastegate there, but I kind of drew a little spot for it here. But honestly, I really just don't like it, so we're gonna change it. I'm gonna go ahead and just dump this straight down. I think that would be good. I mean, that's the way it was before. It was dumped down like right here. So I think that I can shorten this up because this is actually extra weight too. I mean, this is like 2.5 pounds of tubing that I don't need. So if I just cut it off here, get this 90 I have over here. Got a couple tubes that I can kind of put together to get it to go down. And then this is all just tacked. So yeah, this is like just one or two tacks on each side. So we can cut this off. I can put it down here and kind of make something a little bit better. And then we'll finish off the hood. I'll put make a trim ring for that. And yeah, we should be good to go. Like I said, I also got the billet tensioner. I probably should have made a video about putting that on because you can put those on without having to take apart the whole front end, like the balancer and all that. You can put that on. So what you do is you get some zip ties, okay? And you zip tie across the timing belt. I put 2 up top and then 1 on the bottom, and just basically pull the timing belt this way. And then you can undo your bolts, and take this whole bracket off. It's really not that hard, and it's 1 bolt here and then obviously your pulley bolt. You take that apart and then you slip the new one on and then put your hydraulic tensioner on, bolt it on, and then you obviously, you put a pin in it and then take the pin out when you're done. But yeah, it worked perfect. It was no issues whatsoever. So yeah, that looks really good. And it actually, I'm not sure if my old tensioner was worn out or not, like this tensioner. Maybe the little pin here, I don't know if you can see this or not, it's hard to do on my phone, but this little pin here might have been worn out, because once I put the new one on, I've got so much more tension on my belt now. Like, before I could pull this off really easily, but now it's much tighter. Okay, so I'm thinking that this is a little bit, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit taller on the pin here to give it more tension, or if that was just worn out, I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely got more tension on it, so that's a good thing. But anyway, let me get this, this little thingy here off, this dump tube off. It just looks so bad, I can't go with it. And then we'll start cutting it up and see where we can put it. Okay, so here's what I come up with. It's going to, I kind of flipped the gate around. So the gate was pointing that way, and I just rotated it until it goes down. And this is just gonna basically come out right there. I don't know, I'll kind of tilt it in a little bit. So it's like pointing away from the front tire and kind of pointing, you know, kind of like under the alternator there. So, I mean, pretty much the only concern with doing something, you know, putting the dump tube straight down would be like if we torch the motor and it spits out stuff, you know, and you run over it and wreck the car. Well, you typically, wastegates aren't going to be the culprit as far as getting, you know, dumping oil or anything on the track. It's usually the exhaust. So if it does come out the wastegate, it'll be minimal. And like I said, I'm not too worried about it. And it's kind of aiming, you know, towards the middle of the car like this. So, I mean, obviously I wouldn't want to aim it to where it's right under the tire. So it's kind of aiming away from that. And like I said, we ran it that way for a long time. So, but yeah, I think that'll work. It's going to clean it up a little bit. It's much shorter. I mean, it's, you know, like half the length of what it was. So like I said, it was 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds actually. So now it's probably 1 pound. And that works just as good, you know, pointing the gate the other way. So yeah, all right. So let me get this set up to like back purge, because that was just tacking right now. Just tacking it in there. And, you know, if you don't back purge it, you'll get all kinds of nastiness on the inside of the tube. I was gonna give you guys a little tip on the TIG welding and all that. And if you notice on when I tack, you can see the tacks, they tack like instantly. And the way I do that is you turn up your start current. Okay, you have a little thing here that has start current. So I turn that up pretty high. And what that does is it gives you the ability just to tack it really super fast. I mean, the benefit of that is that you're not like, because you may not have your pieces positioned perfect. And once you get them perfect, you really want to get that tack on there quick. And, you know, and then you're not overheating anything too. So, but I just wanted to give you all a little tip on that. Turn your start current up. Now you can only go so far. So let's say I have this, right now I have it set at like 80 amps. Which is actually pretty high for that material. I'll turn it way down once we start welding the whole thing. I could probably weld that at like 40 amps. But just to do tacking, I turned up to like 80, turn the start current up to where it's right equal with 80. That way, you know that you're getting all that at once, and it just tacks it instantly. So anyway, just want to give you that little tip. And yeah, so let's get this set up. We'll start, I'll put some tin foil on one side and then put the purge in the other side. I have this tube here. And I just use like some tin foil, you know, pretty much just like ball it up, put it in one end, and then, yeah, the welds will come out nice. So let me get going on that. So we got the dump tube all fully welded. And I just kind of wanted to show you guys something that's kind of interesting, if I can get this camera to focus. So this is my welding today, okay? Every time I weld, I get better and better. And I thought it was interesting on this dump tube here. You can see what I welded about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, maybe 1.5 years. And then today, what I welded. And you can see the difference, okay? So this is today. It's not great. I'm not saying it's great, but in comparison, this compared to that, okay? I'm probably gonna go over this right now just to make it better, but I wanted to show you guys what this right here is when I bought this, when I first bought this, this was like one of the first things I welded. So it just shows you, everybody talks about, practice makes perfect with TIG welding, and the more you do it, the better you'll get. And it is so true. I mean, this is like total evidence. This is, 10 minutes ago, and this is 2 years ago. So yeah, I mean, just keep plugging away at it. It gets better. I mean, when I first started, I'm like, I can never do this. This is going to be a nightmare to try to do this because I just wasn't getting it. I wasn't doing a very good job. Everything was coming out horrible. But the more I just kept doing it, and now, you know, like this is not that bad either. So yeah, I say just keep plugging at it. It's, you know, I got this machine here for, what was that? Like $900 or something like that. That's like your basic entry level prime weld Amazon special, but it works great. So anyway, I just want to show you guys that and just show you the progress I've been making. And I'm going to go ahead and go over this to see if I can make it look a little better. And yeah, we'll install this and go from there. Alrighty, she's in there and looks pretty good. I went ahead and, like I said, touched up the my old welds. So this was what I did a couple years ago, and I just kind of went over it and cleaned it up a little bit. But some spots still not that great, but it's good enough. It's just a dump tube. So I went ahead also and made this little trim ring here. It's letting it dry right now. I went ahead and painted it black. But this is gonna kind of go, I know it's kind of weird looking, but it just kind of fit where I needed it to, kind of like that. And I'll pretty much just do the same as what I did down here. I just RTV'd it on, like use some good RTV, scratch up the surface a little bit, and then glue it down. And then I used, in order to keep that from bubbling, I used this barbecue paint here, this high heat barbecue, so it doesn't peel the paint off when that exhaust gets hot. But yeah, guys, this is like some serious DIY stuff here. This is probably not gonna stay this way forever. I would like to eventually, you know, like once we get, once we get a different turbo, I'm gonna change this, and I'd like to get a different hood. I wanna do away with these hood pins. So I wanna cut that off. I wanna do, you know, just your basic Zeus stuff, get rid of all these brackets. And I would really like a carbon fiber flat hood. And because this thing still, even though I've cut a ton of stuff out of it underneath, this thing still weighs a ton. Just lifting it on and off. You know, if I do some carbon fiber hood and some Zeus rails, I can get rid of all this bracketry. That saves weight. So eventually, yeah, I mean, that's what's gonna happen. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a bubble coming up right here in the paint. So this hood is kind of getting trashed, to be honest with you. The old manifold used to come over by the shock tower there, which is right here. And I'm sure from the heat is what caused that to bubble up like that. I don't know if it's kind of hard to tell, but yeah, you can kind of see it there. So I'm sure the heat from the old manifold was just, you know, cooking the bottom of the hood. So, but yeah, all right, let me get that glued on. I'll get the hood bolted on. We'll close this down and see what it looks like. Alrighty then, so we're pretty much done here with this, all the fab on this project. So last thing left to do is get this thing tuned. I gotta say, I'm not like super excited about taking this thing to the track just because of the weather. The weather here in Florida is so hot and so humid. You're never gonna run really great times with it in this kind of weather. I mean, just trying to do anything out here, you could, you know, sweat to death. So, but I mean, I'm glad I got this all pretty much set, ready to go. And I can focus on doing a couple other things to the car. But as far as the front half, we should be good to go. I mean, everything fits really good, clears nicely. As you can see, it kind of clears off to the left there. And then I tried to kind of, as it comes down, make it to where it looks kind of centered, you know, because I could have taken and brought this side in a little bit, but then it would look funny once the hood's down, you know. So, but it clears, doesn't touch, and we should be good to go. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I just wanted to show you finishing this thing up, getting it ready to go, and yeah, like I said, the next thing will be to get it tuned, and a few other things too. I got it, like I said, I got to do the parachute. I got to finish that, but that's just a matter of buying the parachute and cutting the line to fit. That's all that is. Everything else is done. And yeah, I do want to come up with something a little better for the laptop. I don't really like that thing. It kind of flops around too much, so I don't know. I may just put something down on the floor there just to get it out of the way. I don't really pay attention to it going down the track, so I don't really need it in that position. So anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Check you all next time.